Today, we're diving into the story of a really pivotal moment in computing history. I'm talking about a time when this incredibly powerful technology, once totally locked away for the experts, was suddenly put right into the hands of millions of everyday people. And believe me, it completely changed how business was done. To really get what a huge deal this was, you have to see the before and after. So on the left, that's the world before 1992. You've got a black screen, a blinking cursor, and these cryptic commands that only a programmer could possibly love. But on the right, that's what came next, a visual, graphical world with windows, icons, and drag and drop. This wasn't just a small update, it was a completely different universe.
And this was the big question that was driving everything. For years, the incredible power of relational databases was just locked away. So the challenge was massive. How do you give the average person the keys to this powerful engine without forcing them to become a mechanic first?
So let's set the scene. Before 1992, the world of data was, well, it was a very exclusive club. The tools were built by programmers for programmers, and that pretty much locked everyone else out. Think about it. Before this revolution, if you wanted to build a database, you were kind of stuck. You had to learn complex syntax for tools like DBase or FoxPro. Now that was great if you were a programmer, but it was totally inaccessible for, say, a marketing manager or a small business owner who was just trying to track inventory. You know, data was for the few, not for the many. But then, everything changed. A single product came along that just completely turned the status quo on its head and kicked off a genuine revolution right there on the desktop. Mark your calendars for November 1992. Just as the world was really starting to embrace Microsoft Windows, this new application appeared. And it wasn't just another program, it was the answer to that question we just asked. And its name? Microsoft Access, version 1.0. This was the tool that promised to finally democratize the database.
So how'd it work? What was the secret sauce that let Access be both incredibly powerful and, at the same time, surprisingly easy to use? Well, its success really came down to this thing called a database engine. The easiest way to think about it is like the engine in your car. It does all the hard work, managing data, running queries, but it's hidden under the hood. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive the car, right?
And the engine inside Microsoft Access was called JET. This thing was the powerhouse, the hidden motor that gave Access its amazing speed and capabilities. It's what allowed it to go toe-to-toe with the established giants of the time.
So here it is, the winning formula. It's so simple. You take the raw power of the JET engine and you wrap it in a simple graphical interface that anybody using Windows could already understand. Power plus simplicity. And the result? The world of databases was suddenly thrown wide open.
The release of Access wasn't just some technical achievement. It had these massive, immediate consequences for the whole software market, and really, for businesses everywhere.
Access came out of the gate really strong in '92. By '94, it was even more polished and powerful. But the real game changer? That came in '95 and '97, when Microsoft didn't just sell Access, they bundled it deeply into the Microsoft Office suite.
And that was the masterstroke. By becoming part of Office, Access was suddenly on millions and millions of computers by default, right there alongside Word and Excel. It wasn't an app you had to go out and buy, it was just there. This strategy guaranteed mass adoption and completely reshaped the entire market. The way people started using it was just incredible to watch. All of a sudden, department managers could build their own custom apps without having to wait for the IT department. Office workers could whip up sophisticated reports in an afternoon. It became this amazing playground for new ideas, and for a whole generation, it was the very first step into really understanding data. So this wasn't just about a new piece of software. The long-term impact of this shift was profound. It actually changed how people thought.
You see, Access did more than just give people a tool, it taught them a new way of thinking. It introduced millions to the core concepts of relational data, this idea that you can organize information into separate tables, like customers and orders, and then link them together. It was basically a mass education in data literacy, all disguised as a user-friendly app. And ultimately, that's what it was. More than any other product before it, Access really fulfilled that promise of being the database for the masses. It took this complex, almost arcane technology and made it a common, everyday business tool. And with that, the desktop revolution was essentially complete. The power was now in the hands of the people. But this was just the first act. The tool that democratized the database was about to become the indispensable, do-everything Swiss Army knife of the entire business world.